The story begins in a world where portals, known as gates, connect Earth to dungeons filled with monsters. These gates have become a normal part of life, and with them, people known as hunters have emerged. Hunters are individuals who possess special abilities, enabling them to battle the creatures within these gates. Our protagonist, Sung Jin-woo, is introduced as the weakest of these hunters. Nicknamed the world's weakest, Jin-woo struggles daily with his low rank and limited skills. Yet, despite his lack of strength, he continues to enter dungeons to make a living and pay for his mother's hospital bills. Jin-woo's mother, who is in a coma due to a mysterious illness called eternal sleep, and his younger sister, who is still in school, are his motivations to keep pushing forward despite the danger. Jin-woo joins a raid party to clear a D-rank dungeon. The raid is led by more experienced hunters, including Sung Cheol, a seasoned healer, and Joo-hee, a kind-hearted support hunter who has a soft spot for Jin-woo. The team underestimates the danger of this particular dungeon, assuming it will be an easy clear. As they navigate through the dungeon, they face off against low-level monsters such as goblins and kobolds. Jin-woo, despite his low rank, fights bravely, though he often finds himself on the brink of death. His determination and resilience are apparent as he continues to fight through the pain and injuries. The atmosphere changes when they discover a hidden door leading to a secret chamber. Against better judgment, the party decides to explore it, lured by the potential treasure and rewards. Inside, they find an eerie ancient temple filled with statues and a massive stone altar. The tension in the air is palpable as the hunters cautiously proceed. Suddenly, the statues come to life and a deadly trial begins. The temple reveals itself as an S-rank dungeon, a death trap far beyond their capabilities. The statues start attacking, causing chaos and panic. In the ensuing battle, several hunters are killed instantly, crushed by the stone figures or impaled by their weapons. The scene is gruesome, with blood splattering and cries of agony echoing through the temple. Jin-woo, injured and exhausted, watches in horror as his comrades fall one by one. His protective instincts kick in when he sees Joo-hee in danger. Despite his injuries, he throws himself into the fray, using his body as a shield to protect her from a crushing blow. The narrative intensifies with detailed descriptions of Jin-woo's desperate attempts to survive, blocking attacks with his sword, pushing Joo-hee out of harm's way, and suffering severe injuries in the process. In the climax of the episode, the remaining hunters attempt to decipher the inscriptions on the altar, which they believe hold the key to stopping the statues. Jin-woo, bleeding and barely conscious, assists in reading the clues. The tension reaches its peak as they figure out that they need to bow to the statue of the god to stop the massacre. With his last ounce of strength, Jin-woo leads the surviving hunters in bowing to the statue, and the statues halt their attack. The surviving members, including Jin-woo and Joo-hee, are left battered and traumatized. The episode ends with Jin-woo collapsing from his injuries, his fate uncertain, as Joo-hee's desperate cries for help echo through the temple. The episode picks up immediately where the first episode left off, with Jin-woo, Sung Cheol, and Joo-hee facing the terrifying stone statues in the double dungeon. The room is filled with tension and fear as they try to decipher the cryptic instructions that could mean the difference between life and death. Jin-woo realizes that the dungeon operates under specific rules. 1. Revere God. 2. Praise God. 3. Prove your faith to God. The hunters initially struggle to interpret these rules, leading to devastating losses as several of their comrades are killed by the statues' merciless attacks. The scenes are graphic and intense, with the stone statues moving with terrifying precision, slaughtering anyone who fails to comply with the rules. Jin-woo, with his keen observation and quick thinking, starts piecing together the instructions. He notices that the statues react to specific actions. The survivors follow his lead, but it's a race against time as the room's deadly traps continue to activate. The atmosphere is thick with suspense as they try to revere and praise the godlike figure in the room, desperately trying to avoid further casualties. As the statues attack with relentless fury, Jin-woo and Cheol decipher the final instruction: prove your faith to God. Jin-woo understands that this requires a significant sacrifice. In a selfless act, he tells Sung Cheol to evacuate with the unconscious Joo-hee while he stays behind to buy them time. Cheol hesitates but ultimately respects Jin-woo's decision, dragging Joo-hee to safety. Left alone in the dungeon, Jin-woo faces the statues, knowing that he has no chance of survival. He fights with every ounce of his strength, but it becomes clear that he is outmatched. As the statues close in, Jin-woo is filled with a mix of rage and despair. He curses his weakness and the cruel fate that has brought him to this point. point. In his final moments, Jinwoo receives a surprising notification from the mysterious system. He has completed the hidden quest. The system offers him a chance to become a player, a unique status that promises the opportunity to grow stronger. Desperate and with nothing to lose, Jinwoo accepts the offer just as he succumbs to his injuries. The episode begins with Jinwoo waking up in a hospital bed after being unconscious for 3 days. The sunlight streaming through the window is harsh, and he squints against the brightness, momentarily disoriented. He touches his chest, expecting to feel the wounds from the double dungeon raid, but finds his body miraculously healed. Initially, Jinwoo wonders if everything he experienced was just a nightmare. The vivid memories of the stone statues, the deaths of his comrades, and the mysterious system that saved him blur in his mind. His thoughts are interrupted when investigators from the Hunters Association arrive to interview him about the incident. The investigators explain that the double dungeon raid really did happen. Juhee is traumatized, barely able to speak about the events, and Sung Cheol has decided to retire after losing his arm. The gravity of their words sinks in, and Jinwoo feels a pang of guilt and determination. Investigators also test Jinwoo for a rare phenomenon known as a second awakening, which can significantly increase a hunter's abilities. However, the test results come back negative, further disappointing Jinwoo. As Jinwoo contemplates his fate, he suddenly receives a familiar notification from the system. It declares him a player and outlines a set of daily quests he must complete. These quests come with rewards such as stat bonuses and loot boxes, but failure to complete them results in severe penalties. Skeptical and exhausted, Jinwoo decides to ignore the quests for the first day. His decision proves costly. Jinwoo is abruptly transported to a desolate, barren wasteland filled with dangerous creatures, a penalty zone. The creatures relentlessly pursue him, and Jinwoo is forced to run for his life. The penalty quest is grueling, pushing Jinwoo to his limits. He narrowly escapes with his life, but the experience leaves him shaken and resolved never to skip a daily quest again. Next morning, Jinwoo starts taking the system's daily quests seriously. The tasks are mundane at first, push-ups, sit-ups, and jogging, but Jinwoo tackles them with fierce determination. The montage of his training sessions shows his relentless dedication as he completes each task, slowly but surely increasing his stats. With each completed quest, Jinwoo receives stat bonuses that enhance his physical and mental abilities. He also earns loot boxes containing useful items and equipment. One day, after completing his daily quest, Jinwoo opens a loot box and finds a special item, an instance dungeon key. The key glows with a mysterious energy, and Jinwoo feels a pull towards it. Curiosity and the drive to grow stronger compel him to use the key, which opens a portal to a new dungeon. Steeling himself, Jinwoo steps through the portal and finds himself in a dark, abandoned subway station. The air is thick with tension, and the dim lighting casts eerie shadows on the crumbling walls. As Jinwoo ventures deeper into the station, he hears unsettling noises echoing through the tunnels. Jinwoo's first encounter is with a group of goblins. These creatures are small but vicious, attacking in coordinated swarms. Jinwoo's agility and combat skills are put to the test as he dodges their sharp claws and retaliates with precise strikes. Each defeated goblin provides experience points, slowly increasing his strength and confidence. Just as Jinwoo begins to gain the upper hand, a new threat emerges from the darkness. The goblins part ways to reveal a much larger and more menacing foe, the Alpha Wolf. This creature exudes an aura of dominance, its eyes glowing with a fierce intelligence. The Alpha Wolf charges at Jinwoo with incredible speed and power, forcing him to fight for his life once more. The episode picks up where the last one left off, with Jinwoo standing victorious over the fallen Alpha Wolf in the dark, eerie corridors of Hapjeong Station. As he catches his breath, a familiar notification pops up before him, indicating that he has gained a level. The stat increase revitalizes him, filling him with a renewed sense of strength and determination. However, there is no time to rest. Jinwoo hears the approaching sounds of more monsters. The dungeon seems endless, and he knows that if he wants to survive and grow stronger, he must push forward. Goblins and wolves alike swarm from the shadows, forcing Jinwoo into a continuous battle. His movements become more fluid, and his attacks more powerful, with each monster he defeats adding to his experience and honing his skills. As Jinwoo cuts through the waves of enemies, he notices a significant change in himself. His reflexes are sharper, his stamina greater, and his resolve unshakable. He starts to view the dungeon as a rigorous training ground, each encounter an opportunity to test and improve his abilities. The progression feels almost like a game, with each level up bringing him closer to his goals. Finally, Jinwoo reaches the heart of the dungeon, where the dungeon boss awaits. Boss is a massive blue venom-fanged Kasaka, monstrous serpent-like creature with a venomous bite that can kill instantly. Kasaka's blue scales glisten ominously in the dim light, and its fangs drip with deadly venom. The creature exudes a chilling aura of power and vengefulness. The battle is fierce and unforgiving. The Kasaka's attacks are swift and deadly, forcing Jinwoo to stay on his toes. He uses every skill and tactic he has learned, dodging the creature's venomous strikes and retaliating with precise blows. The Kasaka's agility and strength push Jinwoo to his limits, but his determination and strategic thinking give him the edge he needs. With a final, powerful strike, Jinwoo defeats the blue venom-fanged Kasaka. The massive creature collapses, dissolving into shadows as the dungeon begins to stabilize. Jinwoo stands victorious, breathing heavily but filled with a sense of accomplishment and power. System rewards him with a substantial experience boost and valuable loot, further enhancing his abilities. Just as Jinwoo prepares to exit the dungeon, he receives a notification from the system about a dungeon break occurring outside. A dungeon break happens when a dungeon is not cleared properly, allowing its monsters to escape into the real world. Alarmed, Jinwoo rushes to the portal, ready to face whatever awaits him outside. Emerging from the instance, Jinwoo is greeted by a soldier. He recognizes him as a hunter and quickly informs him about the ongoing situation. A massive golem has broken free from a nearby dungeon and is wreaking havoc in the city. The arriving hunters, including a PTSD-stricken Juhi, are struggling to deal any damage to the powerful creature. The golem's stone body repels their attacks, and it seems invincible. Jinwoo assesses the situation quickly, realizing that the golem's defense must have a weak point. He notices a crack in the golem's armor, a small but crucial vulnerability. Drawing his broken sword, Jinwoo charges at the golem. He leaps into the air, his movements a blur of speed and precision, and hurls the sword with all his might. The blade strikes true, shattering the golem's defenses and causing it to stagger. The gathered hunters seize the opportunity, unleashing their attacks on the now vulnerable golem. Together, they manage to bring the massive creature down, finally ending its rampage. The hunters look at Jinwoo in awe and gratitude, realizing that he was the key to their victory. As the dust settles, Jinwoo quietly departs, reflecting on the battle. He is aware that the golem must have been more injured than he'd expected for his plan to work so effectively. This realization fills him with a mix of humility and determination. He knows that he still has a long way to go and much to learn, but he is resolute in his quest to become stronger and protect those he cares about. The episode opens with Jinwoo joining a C-rank dungeon raid led by Dong-suk, a C-rank hunter. Jinwoo stands out among the group due to his low rank and lack of impressive gear. Dong-suk, accompanied by his 5 associates, forms a pickup group to tackle a C-rank insect dungeon. The contract stipulates that Jinwoo doesn't have to fight and will get paid 2 million for filling up member count, but won't receive any battle drops, which makes Jinwoo suspicious of Dong-suk's motives. The group is rounded out by Jinho, a D-rank hunter on his first dungeon raid. Jinho is heavily equipped with expensive and powerful gear thanks to his family's wealth. Jinwoo, although skeptical of the situation, decides to proceed with caution. As the group ventures into the insect dungeon, the atmosphere is tense. The walls are covered in thick, web-like material, and the air is filled with the faint rustling of hidden creatures. The party encounters a wave of monster ants, and a fierce battle ensues. The hunters, led by Dong-suk, manage to defeat the ants with relative ease, showcasing their combat skills. After the battle, the group continues deeper into the dungeon and eventually finds the dungeon boss, a giant sleeping spider in a room filled with highly valuable mana crystals. The crystals emit a soft blue glow, illuminating the dark chamber. The sight of the crystals immediately catches Jinho's attention, and he reviews Jinwoo's contract, noting that since the crystals aren't battle drops, Jinwoo should get a full share. This observation doesn't sit well with Dong-suk and his associates. They had planned to keep all the loot for themselves and are not willing to share the valuable mana crystals. In retaliation, Dong-suk and his party spring their plan. They deceive Jinwoo and Jinho, leading them into the boss room, and then sealing the entrance, trapping them inside. In the process, they deliberately wake up the giant spider, hoping to eliminate Jinwoo and Jinho. The giant spider awakens with a furious screech, its multiple eyes glowing ominously. The room is plunged into chaos as the spider begins to attack. Jinho, terrified and inexperienced, struggles to fight back. Jinwoo, however, remains calm and focused. He quickly assesses the situation and prepares to confront the dungeon boss. Jinwoo's battle with the giant spider is intense and thrilling. He uses his agility and combat skills to evade the spider's deadly attacks, striking back with precision. Despite the spider's formidable strength and size, Jinwoo's determination and strategic thinking give him the upper hand. He targets the spider's weak points, dealing significant damage and gradually wearing it down. As the battle reaches its climax, Jinwoo delivers a series of powerful blows, finally defeating the giant spider. The monster collapses with a final agonizing screech and the room falls silent. Jinho, though shaken, is amazed by Jinwoo's strength and resolve. Jinwoo's system interface notifies him of the experience points and rewards he has earned, further boosting his abilities. Jinwoo, bloodied but triumphant, stands over the defeated monster while Jinho looks on in awe and shock. The once imposing dungeon boss now lies lifeless, a testament to Jinwoo's growing strength and determination. Before they can catch their breath, Dong-suk and his group re-enter the boss room. Their faces twist with surprise and anger upon seeing the giant spider defeated and Jinwoo and Jinho still alive. Realizing their plan to eliminate Jinwoo has failed, Dong-suk quickly shifts tactics. Dong-suk tries to coerce Jinho into killing Jinwoo, using threats and manipulation to bend Jinho's will. Jinho, despite his fear and inexperience, refuses to betray Jinwoo, who had protected and guided him through the dungeon. His refusal enrages Dong-suk, and the tension in the room escalates. At this critical moment, Jinwoo receives a new quest from the system. The message is clear and brutal. He must kill Dong-suk and his group or face death himself. The stakes couldn't be higher, and Jinwoo is left with no choice but to comply with the system's demand. The room explodes into violence as Jinwoo launches into action. The battle is fierce and ruthless. Jinwoo moves with deadly precision, his enhanced abilities on full display. Dong-suk's group, caught off guard by Jinwoo's unexpected power and ferocity, falls one by one. The sound of clashing weapons and cries of pain fills the chamber as Jinwoo methodically eliminates each member of Dong-suk's party. Dong-suk, the last to fall, faces Jinwoo with a mixture of fear and disbelief. Jinwoo's expression is cold and resolute as he delivers the final blow, ending the treacherous hunter's life. The battle is over, and Jinwoo stands victorious amidst the carnage, his resolve hardened by the necessity of his actions. Jinho, shaken by the violence he has witnessed, looks at Jinwoo with a mix of fear and admiration. Jinwoo, understanding the gravity of what has transpired, reassures Jinho, telling him that they did what was necessary to survive. The two exit the dungeon, carrying the valuable mana crystals they had mined earlier. Jinwoo devises a cover story, explaining to the outside world that Dong-suk and his group were slain by the dungeon monsters. This explanation is plausible, given the dangerous nature of dungeons and the frequent loss of life among hunters. The episode opens with Jinho offering Jinwoo a generous proposition, a building in exchange for his help in fulfilling the requirements for guild certification. Jinho, still in awe of Jinwoo's strength and determination, sees Jinwoo as a vital ally for his future plans. However, Jinwoo, focused on his own goals and wary of entanglements, politely rejects the offer. Jinho, although disappointed, respects Jinwoo's decision and vows to support him in any way he can. Jinwoo's daily missions have become a routine, pushing his limits and honing his skills. As he completes each task, he notices something peculiar. The missions keep incrementing beyond the initial requirements. Determined to see where this lead, Jinwoo pushes himself harder, maxing out the daily missions requirements. His perseverance pays off when the system rewards him with another instance dungeon key, this time to an S-rank dungeon. The key shimmers in Jinwoo's hand, and the system's interface details the dungeon's reward, a special potion capable of healing any illness. The revelation hits Jinwoo like a bolt of lightning. This potion could cure his mother, who has been in a coma for years. Fueled by hope and determination, Jinwoo decides to risk everything and enter the S-rank dungeon. The S-rank dungeon's entrance looms ominously as Jinwoo steps inside. The air is thick with tension, and the eerie silence is broken only by the distant growl of a monstrous creature. The first battle is against a formidable guardian, Cerberus, a three-headed beast with glowing eyes and razor-sharp fangs. The ground trembles under its massive paws as it charges at Jinwoo. The battle is fierce and relentless. Cerberus's attacks are swift and deadly, nearly killing Jinwoo multiple times. Each head attacks with terrifying precision, forcing Jinwoo to dodge and counterattack with every ounce of his strength and skill. The beast's fire breath scorches the ground, and its claws slice through the air with lethal intent. Jinwoo's movements are a blur of agility and power. He uses his enhanced abilities to evade Cerberus's attacks, striking back with calculated precision. Despite his best efforts, the battle takes a toll on him. His stamina wanes, and wounds cover his body, yet the thought of his mother fuels his determination, driving him to push beyond his limits. In a final, desperate move, Jinwoo delivers a series of powerful blows to Cerberus, targeting its weak spots. The beast roars in pain, its head flailing wildly. With a mighty swing, Jinwoo lands the killing blow, and Cerberus collapses with a thunderous crash. The dungeon falls silent, and Jinwoo stands victorious, though barely able to stand. The system rewards Jinwoo with the key to the castle that Cerberus was guarding. Inside, he finds the ingredients needed to craft the special potion. However, the castle is filled with even more dangerous monsters and traps. Realizing his current state, Jinwoo knows he would die if he pressed on. He makes a promise to himself to return later, stronger and more prepared, to obtain the potion and save his mother. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, the Hunters Association begins investigating the death of Hwang Dong-suk and his party. Suspicion arises when they learn that the dungeon boss was defeated, contradicting the story given by Jinwoo and Jinho. The investigation intensifies, and the trail leads to Dong-suk's younger brother, Hwang Dong-soo, an S-rank hunter with a notorious reputation. Dong-soo, furious and grief-stricken over his brother's death, vows revenge. He is convinced that Jinwoo and Jinho are responsible and swears to make them pay. The episode ends with Dong-soo's ominous declaration, setting the stage for a confrontation that will test Jinwoo's newfound strength and resolve. Jinwoo, unaware of the looming threat, focuses on his promise to return to the S-rank dungeon. His journey is far from over, and the challenges ahead will push him to new heights. With his mother's life hanging in the balance and powerful enemies closing in, Jinwoo steels himself for the battles to come. The episode opens with Jinwoo visiting his comatose mother in the hospital. He sits by her bedside, holding her hand and gazing at her peaceful yet lifeless face. The weight of his promise to save her fuels his determination to get stronger. Jinwoo knows that to obtain the ingredients needed to craft the potion that could heal her, he must push himself to new heights. Determined to increase his strength and capabilities, Jinwoo decides to accept Jinho's request to aid in running dungeons to allow the creation of a guild. Jinho's sincere plea and genuine admiration for Jinwoo's skills make him realize that this partnership could be mutually beneficial. The formation of a guild would provide a stable platform for their endeavors and open opportunities for higher ranked missions and resources. To meet the party member requirements for C-rank dungeons, the Hunters Association recruits the survivors of the double dungeon raid: Jinwoo, healer Ju-hee, veteran hunter Sung Cheol, and fellow survivors Kim Sang-shik and Kang Jung-ho. Despite the trauma of their past experience, the group is determined to push forward and make the most of their second chance. However, due to a shortage of hunters in the area, the group is rounded out by several imprisoned hunters who serve in exchange for reduced sentences. These hunters, tough and unpredictable, are overseen by B-rank hunter Kang Tae-shik, a stern and imposing figure tasked with keeping the group in check. As the new team prepares for their first dungeon run, tensions are high. The imprisoned hunters, while skilled, are a volatile addition to the group. Kang Tae-shik's presence ensures a semblance of order, but the dynamics are fraught with unease. Jinwoo, though wary, remains focused on his goal. The group enters a C-rank dungeon, a sprawling underground labyrinth filled with lurking dangers. The atmosphere is tense as they navigate the dark corridors, illuminated only by the faint glow of their torches. The sound of skittering creatures echoes through the tunnels, heightening the sense of dread. The episode begins with the group standing at a three-way junction deep within the dungeon. They decide to split up to cover more ground and expedite their progress. Kang Tae-shik leads one group with the imprisoned hunters, Kang Jung-ho and Kim Sang-shik, while Jinwoo, Ju-hee, and Cheol take another path. As they part ways, a sense of unease settles over Jinu. He senses something off about Kong's demeanor, but decides to focus on the task at hand. The dungeon's dark, winding corridors create an oppressive atmosphere, and the echoes of distant monsters add to the tension. Meanwhile, Kang Tai-shik's true intentions come to light. He has been hired by the father of one of the victims of the imprisoned hunters to exact revenge. Kang sees the separation as the perfect opportunity to carry out his deadly mission. With ruthless efficiency, he begins to systematically murder the imprisoned hunters under his command. The cold, calculated killings are carried out with precision, leaving no room for escape. Kang Jong-ho and Kim Sang-chik, following their assigned path, stumble upon the gruesome scene. Horror and disbelief wash over them as they witness the aftermath of Kang's slaughter. Before they can react or retreat, Kang moves swiftly to silence them and cover up his actions. In a tragic and violent confrontation, Kang Jong-ho and Sang-shik are overpowered and killed by Kang. Jinu's group, unaware of the impending danger, continues on their path. However, the sudden loss of their teammates sends shockwaves through them. Jinu, Ju-hee, and Cheol race back to the junction, driven by a mixture of urgency and fear. They arrive at the scene of the massacre, finding the bodies of their fallen comrades and the blood-stained Kang Tai-shik standing among them. Jinu's eyes burn with fury and determination as he steps forward to confront Kang. The air crackles with tension as the two stand face to face, the weight of the moment heavy upon them. Kang, confident in his abilities, underestimates the strength and resolve of his opponent. Before Jinu can act, Cheol, fueled by a sense of duty and justice, steps forward to face Kang. Despite his age and previous injuries, Cheol's eyes burn with determination. The battle between Cheol and Kang is fierce and intense. Cheol, using his years of experience and tactical knowledge, puts up a formidable fight against the ruthless Kang. Cheol's agility and precision in battle are impressive, but Kang's brute strength and murderous intent begin to take their toll. Cheol manages to land several critical blows, but Kang's relentless assault proves overwhelming. In a desperate bid to protect his remaining comrades, Cheol continues to fight with everything he has, but ultimately, Kang gains the upper hand. Cheol is critically wounded, and just as Kang is about to deliver the final blow, Jinu intervenes. Seeing his friend and mentor in danger ignites a fierce resolve within him. Jinu, fueled by rage and the need to protect those he cares about, reveals his enhanced abilities. His movements are swift and precise, and his attacks carry a lethal force that catches Kang off guard. The battle between Jinu and Kang is brutal. Jinu's newfound strength and agility outmatch Kang's, and the tide of the battle quickly turns in his favor. Jinu's relentless assault overwhelms Kang, who struggles to keep up with the barrage of powerful blows. In a final decisive move, Jinu delivers a strike that ends the fight, killing Kang and avenging his fallen comrades. As the dust settles, Ju-hee rushes to Cheol's side, using her healing magic to stabilize his condition. Sung Cheol, grateful for Jinu's intervention and recognizing the necessity of his actions, covers for Jinu when the Hunters Association arrives to investigate. His testimony ensures that Jinu's actions are justified and that he remains free to continue his quest for strength. Later that night, Ju-hee approaches Jinu, holding up a small essence stone, and asks if he remembers. The question hangs in the air, laden with significance and mystery. Jinu, confused, takes the essence stone and examines it closely. Memories of past battles and experiences flood his mind, and he begins to piece together the significance of the stone. The episode ends with Jinu deep in thought, contemplating the implications of Ju-hee's question and the path that lies ahead. The episode opens with Jinu and Ju-hee sitting on a park bench, the sun casting long shadows as it begins to set. Ju-hee's expression is a mix of sadness and resolve. She turns to Jinu, her voice steady but tinged with emotion, and tells him that she is retiring as a hunter. The traumas of the double dungeon and recent events have taken their toll on her, and she has decided to seek a quieter, safer life. She hands Jinu a small slip of paper with her address, telling him to look her up if he ever finds himself in her neighborhood. Jinu nods, understanding her decision, but feeling a pang of loss as he watches her walk away. Determined to continue his quest for strength, Jinu throws himself into dungeon runs. Jinho, ever the loyal partner, steps up his efforts to support Jinu. Jinho uses his family's wealth to buy the dungeon rights for multiple C-rank dungeons, a strategic move that allows them to gain experience and resources without the interference of higher-ranked hunters. To meet the minimum party requirements, Jinho recruits low-ranked hunters to fill the numbers, but only he and Jinnu enter the dungeons to clear them. The next series of scenes follow Jinnu and Jinho as they systematically clear dungeon after dungeon. Jinho, equipped with expensive and powerful gear, plays the role of tank, drawing the attention of monsters, while Jinnu, with his rapidly increasing strength and skills, dispatches them with precision. Each battle showcases Jinnu's growing prowess and tactical acumen, his movements becoming more fluid and his strikes more powerful. Meanwhile, in the bustling headquarters of the White Tiger Guild, the recruiting manager, Bak Enho, sits at his desk reviewing the latest reports on potential recruits. As he scans the list, a familiar name catches his eye, Sung Jinnu. Intrigued, Enho delves deeper into the records and pieces together Jinnu's recent activities and sudden rise in capabilities. Realizing that Jinnu must have undergone a second awakening, Enho sees a valuable asset for the guild and decides to approach him personally. Enho arranges a meeting with Jinnu, choosing a high-end cafe as the venue. The atmosphere is formal yet relaxed, with the scent of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the air. Enho, a tall and imposing figure, greets Jinnu with a warm smile, trying to break the ice with small talk before getting to the point. He makes a compelling offer, highlighting the benefits and opportunities of joining the White Tiger Guild, including access to top-tier dungeons, advanced training, and substantial financial rewards. Jinnu listens politely but remains non-committal. He understands the advantages of joining a powerful guild, but is wary of losing his autonomy. Jinnu declines the offer, thanking Enho for his interest, but explaining that he has his own path to follow. Enho, though disappointed, respects Jinnu's decision and leaves the door open for future opportunities. As Jinnu continues his rigorous dungeon runs, he receives a sudden, unexpected message. The message, presented in the same game-like interface that has guided him since his second awakening, informs him that he has achieved a level requirement and is now eligible for a job change quest. This quest offers the potential to unlock new abilities and further enhance his power. Excited and curious about the possibilities, Jinnu accepts the job change quest. The scene shifts to a dark, eerie forest, where Jinnu finds himself standing at the edge of a mysterious portal. The air is thick with anticipation as he steps through the portal, entering a realm filled with unknown challenges and dangers. The episode ends with Jinnu standing in the center of a dark, ominous arena. Shadows flicker at the edges of the space, and a voice booms from above, announcing the start of the job change quest. Jinnu's eyes narrow with determination, ready to face whatever trials lie ahead. The episode opens with Jinnu being transported to the site of his job change quest, a massive, foreboding castle that stretches into the sky. The air is thick with an ominous aura, and the dark stone walls are illuminated by flickering torchlight. As Jinnu steps through the castle gates, they slam shut behind him, signaling the beginning of his trial. Inside, Jinnu is immediately beset by waves of formidable enemies. The first are armored knights, their swords gleaming menacingly in the dim light. These knights are eerily reminiscent of those he has fought in previous dungeons, but they move with a precision and power that challenge Jinnu's newly honed skills. He dodges and parries, each clash of steel echoing through the vast halls of the castle. Despite their strength, Jinnu's determination and agility allow him to overcome them. As he progresses deeper into the castle, the knights are replaced by assassins. These enemies are swift and silent, their daggers aimed at Jinnu's vital points. The flickering shadows make it difficult to pinpoint their exact locations, but Jinnu relies on his heightened senses and quick reflexes to evade their strikes and counterattack. Each victory brings him closer to the heart of the castle, but also drains his stamina. The third wave consists of powerful mages, their robes flowing and their hands crackling with arcane energy. They unleash torrents of elemental magic, forcing Jinnu to constantly move and adapt. Fireballs, ice shards, and lightning bolts fill the air, but Jinnu's agility and resilience enable him to close the distance and dispatch the mages with precision strikes. Finally, after fighting through countless adversaries, Jinnu reaches the grand chamber of the castle. Standing in the center, clad in blood-red armor and exuding an aura of unparalleled power, is Igris, the Blood-Red Knight Commander. The air grows heavy with tension as Jinnu approaches, knowing that this will be his greatest challenge yet. The battle with Igris is intense and grueling. Igris's strength and speed far surpass those of any foe Jinnu has faced. Every swing of Igris's massive sword is powerful enough to shatter the stone floor, and his defense seems impenetrable. Jinnu relies on every skill and strategy he has learned, evading Igris's devastating blows and searching for openings to strike. Despite his best efforts, Jinnu finds himself pushed to his limits. Igris's relentless assault leaves him battered and bloodied, but he refuses to give up. Drawing on his inner reserves of strength and willpower, Jinnu launches a final desperate attack. With a combination of speed, precision, and sheer determination, he manages to land a decisive blow, piercing Igris's armor and felling the formidable knight. As Igris's body dissipates into the ether, Jinnu collapses to his knees, exhausted but triumphant. However, the victory is short-lived. The job change quest truly begins, and the castle trembles as an unending horde of the monsters Jinnu had fought on the way to Igris's chamber are unleashed. The onslaught is relentless, and Jinnu is forced to dig even deeper to survive. The episode opens with Jinnu standing amidst the seemingly endless horde of monsters in the massive castle. Despite his incredible strength and determination, the sheer number of enemies begins to take its toll. Each swing of his weapon takes down multiple foes, but more always rise to take their place. Exhaustion and doubt start to creep in, and Jinnu finds himself on the brink of despair, recalling his prior near-death experiences. Just as he feels he might be overwhelmed, the timer for his daily quest expires. A message flashes before his eyes, indicating that he is being transferred to the penalty zone. With a flash of light, Jinnu is transported away from the battle, landing in the desolate and harsh environment of the penalty zone. Though this place is filled with dangers of its own, Jinnu uses this unexpected respite to his advantage. He catches his breath, recuperates his energy, and mentally prepares himself for the trials ahead. With renewed determination, Jinnu is eventually returned to the castle, now better prepared for the fight. The horde of monsters continues its relentless assault, but Jinnu faces them with renewed vigor. His movements are sharper, his strikes more precise, and his resolve unbreakable. Slowly but surely he begins to turn the tide, cutting through the endless wave of enemies with relentless efficiency. After what feels like an eternity, Jinnu stands victorious over the defeated horde. His body is battered and bruised, but his spirit remains unbroken. At that moment, a powerful ethereal voice echoes through the castle, announcing his success. Jinnu is bathed in a brilliant light, and a new message appears before him. He has earned the title Shadow Monarch. With this title comes a new and extraordinary ability, the power to bring the dead back to life as part of his Shadow Army. The scene shifts as Jinnu experiments with his new ability. He raises the fallen knights, assassins, and mages, who now stand before him as loyal shadows, ready to obey his every command. The castle, once filled with danger, is now his domain, and the Shadow Army at his command promises even greater power and versatility in the battles to come. Meanwhile, the episode transitions to Jeju Island, where the S-rank hunters of Korea have gathered to confront the monstrous threat. Team includes some of the most powerful and renowned hunters, each bringing their unique skills and abilities to the mission. As they land on the island and begin their advance, the atmosphere is tense, with everyone aware of the immense danger that lies ahead. Back in the castle, Jinnu, now the Shadow Monarch, senses the shift in the balance of power. He feels the presence of the evolved monsters on Jeju Island, and understands that his journey is far from over. With his new title and abilities, he is more determined than ever to grow stronger and face whatever challenges lie ahead. As the episode draws to a close, Jinnu stands at the entrance of the castle, his shadow army assembled behind him. The camera pans out, capturing the vast expanse of the castle and the dark, ominous sky above. Jinnu's eyes burn with determination, ready to embrace his new role in the battles that await him. The stage is set for an epic confrontation, and Jinnu's path to becoming the strongest hunter continues with newfound power and unwavering resolve. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, happy watching!